Hey all, Jason Levon, priest at St. Luke's Episcopal Church in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Welcome to another Pause and Pray. Parker Palmer is a spiritual hero of mine. He comes out of the Quaker tradition, well written, and he's just a beautiful reflector on life and faith. He tells of a season in his life where he was experiencing profound depression. And how friends of his were trying to be helpful, but they really weren't. They would say things to him like, "Hey, Parker, it's a beautiful day. Why don't you go outside and take in the fresh air? That'll make you feel better." And others sort of gave the sense of, well, what do you have to be depressed about? You've written so many wonderful things. You've helped so many people on their journeys of life and faith. But what really helped Parker in his season of profound depression was a dear friend who every afternoon would ask if he could come over and sit with Parker. And he would do that at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He would sit Parker down and take off Parker's shoes and socks, and then proceed to massage Parker's feet. He would rarely say anything at all. He was just there with presence and tactile touch. But Parker Palmer talked about how meaningful that was and what a gift it was that this friend made space to just share and be there with Parker in all of his suffering. And in that simple presence, it allowed Parker slowly to lay aside some of the heaviness that he was carrying and allow some more light and love into his life. In today's daily office, we're invited to pray chapter 11 and then the beginning of chapter 12 of the letter to the Hebrews, where the author is reflecting on all of these beautiful people of faith that have gone before us and the great cloud of witnesses that we're surrounded by in their example and their fidelity and their courage and their love. And then goes on to say how it's being surrounded by that great cloud of witnesses that ultimately gives us the grace to lay aside some of the heaviness that we carry from time to time in our lives, to this love that wants to surround us so we don't have to carry it all by ourselves. And then that is this holy invitation for us to pause and pray about today, reflecting on how we've come to experience in our own lives that holy cloud of love surrounding us and even enveloping us with an invitation. Not to tell us what to do or how to fix our lives, but simply to be with us and invite us to lay aside some of the heaviness we're carrying in our lives. Maybe we find that in communities of faith. I know I find that here at St. Luke's, the beautiful people of faith here who are certainly willing and wanting to laugh with me through life, but also willing and wanting to invite me and one another to lay aside some of the heaviness they're carrying, willing to come alongside in presence and prayer and carry some of that heaviness with me and with one another. Maybe you have communities like that in your own life. Or maybe we find it in those really dear friends like Parker Palmer has, who sat with him every afternoon at 4 p.m. Maybe we find it in the witness of those who have gone before us, our loved ones, whose impact and witness still plays a powerful role influencing our lives, especially when we might be struggling with life's heaviness. And those are just some of the examples, again, that we experience that holy cloud of love surrounding us, enveloping us, inviting us to lay aside some of the heaviness that we're carrying. Not just so that we can keep going, as that love helps us carry that heaviness, but ultimately so that we can keep growing in faith and hope, and in that very same love, willing to carry someone else's heaviness. God's peace and blessings to you all.